Thank you very much. Um, so we have, I suppose, spoken about the wholesale destruction in Gaza, the starvation, the blockade, the relentless escalation of barbarity that we have witnessed for the last year and a half. And I suppose to kind of use the example of the 15 paramedics as an example of how I have no words to describe the inversion of normal behavior, of normal international standards in Israel and Gaza at the moment. Every red line, everything we think cannot happen, everything we think cannot go beyond has been stepped beyond. When I started attending these back in October 2023 and some other doctors, we could not believe people were bombing hospitals. I'm not surprised that 15 paramedics were murdered and buried. And that is horrific to say that that is the new reality for healthcare and for the people of Gaza. The UN released the video footage, and as you say, it is constant lies, but the actions of that brave paramedic with his last breath to record that video and that heartrending message to his mother to show the world. And I can't imagine as a healthcare worker going and pulling the bodies of your colleagues, some of them with their hands tied, from a mass grave. So, some of these had their surgical gloves on, ready to rescue people, and that is the core of a healthcare worker. Your instinct is to help. Your instinct is to go in first and help. And I think that what we see with the Palestinian healthcare workers is above and beyond what any of us have seen before in their courage and their ability to just keep going. The Red Cross emblem, a red cross on a white background, is one of the most recognized emblems in the world. It is a symbol of protection, adopted by the Geneva Convention in 1864. The Red Crescent was similarly adopted in 1929, and for almost 100 years, they are universally recognized symbols that in times of armed conflict protect the victims and those who come to their aid. But unfortunately, in the dystopia that is Gaza, these two emblems, along with everything else that signifies healthcare, have been turned into targets by Israel. A hospital, a doctor's white coat, a nurse's uniform, an ambulance, a pharmacy. Every healthcare facility in Gaza has been destroyed or damaged, and more than 1,000 healthcare workers, as we've heard, have been killed, and many hundreds have been abducted and held without charge in Israeli detention centers, where there are widespread reports of systemic torture and abuse. And I'm listening to an American surgeon, pediatric trauma surgeon, who's been in Gaza twice, and he has said that he's done 3 tours of Ukraine, which prior to this was the place where there were the most attacks on hospitals. But he said he never ever felt he was going to be bombed by the Russians. But when people come to him asking if they will come and work in Gaza with him, he tells them, he says, you can come, but Israel can kill you if it wants to, and your government can do nothing. One of the principal foundations of healthcare provision is the idea of neutrality and impartiality. That is why the Red Cross and the Red Crescent are allowed to operate in these areas and why they are protected. And I think that what has happened now, I think, with some of our healthcare organizations and some of our professional bodies, is we've allowed this idea of neutrality and impartiality to actually become a way of avoiding speaking out. And our silence has become complicity. And it is very simple. People tell us it's complicated or you don't understand. I've never been to Gaza, but it's not complicated. You don't shoot children in the head. You don't bomb hospitals. You don't pour off the electricity and oxygen to neonatal units. You don't carry doctor at gunpoint out of hospitals. You don't take them away and break an orthopedic nurse's fingers and leave them on the side of the road. I have no words to describe how unbelievable this is. So, as healthcare workers, we turn up every week. we try our best, but our colleagues in Gaza, we want them to know that we are trying to help them, but they're being starved. The blockade, the relentlessness of it, I cannot get my head around it. And I think that one of the things that when you come to these and you're on your journey to understanding Palestine and what's going on in Zionism, and one of the things that's happened is the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism is being weaponized against healthcare workers and people who speak out. And that is something we need to oppose very strongly. And I think as was said earlier, this is how you feel, and I can cry my eyes out. It's not going to help one finger on one child in Gaza, okay? So what we have to do is stop preaching to the converted, okay? We can talk to people who already understand. We need to have the conversations and draw in the people who don't understand and help them to understand, because the narrative for too long has been it's too complicated and there are terrorists and you've victims on both sides. And anyone who looks at it knows that's not the case. So I think that what I would like, and if we could do, is we will try and speak to somebody who's not in this woke area. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being woke, and draw them in and start to look at things like the Occupied Territories Bill, the INHRE definition, and the new bill on transport of armaments. And talk to your politicians, but talk to your friends, talk to your family. Free Palestine.